Hello everyone, I'm Day Weather Meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this March 9th, 2024. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated and Ag Risk Advisors. Well, it's March. That means a lot of ups and downs, a lot of variability in the weather, and that's exactly what we're going to see. As typical March weather will be found across the U.S. and in the western United States, we're watching a potential strong storm moving into the Rockies and Plains. We'll show you where the impacts may be, something that livestock interests will want to pay close attention to as we get to the middle to the end of next week. It's going to be a colder and unsettled pattern in the west over the next week to 10 days. Over the last week, you can see the very heavy rains and snows that fell last weekend across parts of the Intermountain West and into the West Coast. These areas in particular, huge amounts of snow in the Sierra Nevada, a lot of rain in the California coast and valleys, and then we saw a real big amount of snow in the mountains of Idaho, northwestern Wyoming, parts of eastern Oregon into the Wasatch, and in the mountains of Colorado. So we saw a really nice boost in the snowpack. We also had some heavy snows across the Dakotas up into portions of south central areas of Canada. And you can see over the last couple of weeks, there's been a definite trend to keep storms more to the north. That may change a bit with this next week ahead, and we'll show you that as we'll see a little bit more of a southern shift in the jet stream pattern. Temperatures across the west generally were at or below average, while the warmth was in the central and the eastern areas of the United States, and this is a trend that'll continue for another week. The western U.S., relative to average, will be colder than the rest of the nation. A quick look at snowpacks. Notice, as we've been showing you, it's the central and southern snowpacks where you see the green and the blue where the snowpacks have been the best. Green and blue means good snowpack conditions. Yellow means just below average. And as you get up into the orange areas, that's where we're still looking at this area up here in the Northern Rockies suffering a bit with the lower snowpack numbers. But the Sierra Nevada has now gone above average. And look at all the green and blue here, including the Colorado River Basin, the North Platte, South Platte, Green River Basins. So we're going to continue to have this area here, as you'll see in a minute, is going to be looking at another wave of mountain snows and maybe some rain and snow reaching the lower elevations heading to the middle to the end of next week. First things first, though, as we go into the start of the forecast period for this upcoming weekend, the jet stream is forming a high over the west, with low pressure headed towards the Great Lakes in the northeast. So the western United States, with the exception of the Pacific Northwest, will be dry and warmer. A nice little break in the weather. However, by the early parts of next week, the first of two systems comes in. A fast-moving Pacific front will bring some snows to the central and northern Rockies and rain and snow to the Pacific Northwest to start the week. However, by the middle of the week, low pressure will become better organized. And with high pressure building along the coast and high pressure in the southeastern United States, this is when you get a nice feed of moisture and upslope as the circulations around the lows and the highs work together. So we could, in this area right here, have significant rain and snow chances towards the middle of next week, something that we'll need to watch closely. Livestock interests in the western high plains do need to be ready for potentially some cold, wet weather in this area I'm circling and highlighting right here as we head towards the middle to the end of next week, depending on where that storm goes and how quickly it moves through the area. And you can see that in the 7-day precipitation forecast, this area in particular is susceptible to the heavier rain and snow chances coming on in with next week's storm. And then you can see across Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, into the western high plains, back to areas west of the divide, could see some significant snows. We'll see what that storm does. We'll see you next Saturday. Have a good week ahead.